Good morning. I am Nataraj Upadhyaya. Welcome to this special bulletin about equity mutual funds with some discussions by fund types. This is going to be a very useful bulletin because it is not just informative, it also gives you some general awareness about various equity fund types. This bulletin also is coming at a right time because post election results, because of the coalition government, there was an excessive correction. But since then, there has been a recovery in the market. So we are pretty much close to the pre-election results level. And that becomes evident when you look at the mutual fund data. So the mutual fund data is as on Friday, June 7th, and the data as usual comes from Value Research. Value Research, by providing this data freely, is doing a huge contribution to the mutual fund industry, and I am very thankful to them. And I want to talk about why this report can be useful to you and why you should come back on a weekly basis. I am investing significantly in mutual funds as a retirement planning exercise, and I am very bullish about Indian equities, and investing in mutual funds makes it a bit more safe. So the technique I am using here is looking for consistent performers. And when I say consistent performers, it is the performance uh, on various timelines from 1 month, then 3 months, then 6 months, and then 1 year. So by looking at consistency, the leadership we recognize within the top 50 would be very reliable, and that way we manage the risk very well against the flash in the pan kind of performances. Since I select the top 50, and within that I look for consistent performers. And how do I look at consistent performers is I take the average of top 50 in each timeline. Then I mark the performances above that average in each timeline. And those funds which have above average performance in each timeline within top 50 definitely becomes a risk managed winner. So this is a very simple technique. I don't need to be an expert, but there is a saying that God speaks through data. So if you have a good data and if you analyze it, properly, you can know a lot about the perspectives about past, present, and future. And that's what I am doing. It's a simple technique. There is no rocket science in this. You can also do this yourself. But why do you want to do it? Because here is an idiot who is passionate about doing this on a weekly basis. So you should just relax and go through this data and make the decisions that suits you. So with this, we will get into the details. I'm loading the presentation. So basically, this week we are focusing on equity funds by equity fund types. If time permits, I will do the similar segment for hybrid funds. I have already downloaded the data. I need to do some slicing and dicing and then make the video. So this time you may get far more information in this video than in the blog I have already published. Let us look at various averages here. I have computed the averages for all the equity funds, which is 841. Then by some classifications I have done to suit my work. I wanted to minimize my work, at the same time give you maximum insight. So the groupings I have done is I have combined equity large cap and large and mid cap into one category, flexi and multi cap into another category, mid and small cap together into a category, ELSS, which is the tax saving funds, into one category, because a lot of people are counting on that 1.5 lakhs worth of tax savings using mutual funds. So this may be an important segment for such people. Sectoral funds, which are banking, infrastructure, pharma, and technology. And then thematic funds. Then thematic have different themes like dividend, ESG, etc., which I'll discuss in detail later. I have combined international funds also here because that's also kind of a special theme. Then finally, value oriented equity funds. So how many funds are there in each category? I have marked in the last line within the each segment. Then each segment has details like top 50 based on 1 month return, top 50 average based on 1 year return, bottom 50 based on 1 month return, bottom 50 average based on 1 year return. Then entire equity space within that category. So these averages tell you about the performances of these funds. Let us look at some of the details here. Let me focus on top 50 performances based on 1 year, then 1 month, and then 1 week also. Let us look at 1 year summary. Top 50 across all the funds gave 75.59%. This is the highest because when you look at all the funds together, you get the best representation from all fund types. So 75.59%. Remember this on some good times in the market even hit around 83-85%. So there is a room in the market to perk up. So it's a good time to invest in that sense. Then let us look at the performances, annual performances by fund types. If you look at equity large cap and large and mid cap, 59.30 is pretty good. But at the bottom you see thematic funds have done slightly better even compared to large and mid cap funds. So that is thematic funds. Then you have mid and small cap also have done 58.31%, impressive. Then you have sectoral funds at 55.89%, not bad. Then ELS funds, which are meant for tax saving, 40.57% annual average return is pretty impressive, I would say. Flexi and multi-cap funds are slightly underperforming, 46.28% compared to other types. Then value funds also, value-oriented funds also 41.12%. So this gives you distinctions by fund types, who is in the lead from an annual performance basis. Let us look at the monthly performance. You will see that monthly performance again, all equity funds together, top 50 gave you 10.54%. Okay. Next, the thematic funds gave you 9.75%. Then large cap and large and mid cap gave 8.17%. Then mid and small cap gave 7.95%. That means mid and small cap funds are also working up, which is good news. Then sectoral funds at 6.87%. ELS at 6.11%. And value-oriented funds at 5.55%. So if you look at the 1 month data, it is pretty impressive. With all the hoopla that happened in the last 2 weeks, it is very impressive. Now let us look for further confirmation. Post-election results, how is the 1 week data looking? So if you look at all funds average, in 1 week, they have given a return of 3.19%, which is very impressive. But there is sectoral funds. They have perked up maximum in the last 1 week, 4.37%, which is better than the top 50. Then we have thematic funds at 3.83%. Then we have mid and small cap at 3.12%. In fact, ELSS funds perked up better, 3.22%. Then we have large cap and large and mid cap at 2.73%, probably the lowest, because even the value-oriented funds did better, 2.93%. So this gives you the new leadership that is emerging, which is sectoral, then thematic. So keep that in mind. Let us now get into specific investment choices that are popping up. So I am looking at all equity funds, that is 841 funds together, and this is a monthly leaders, top 50 leaders. So within that, whatever you see bold are the performances which are above the average of this top 50. Then whichever funds have above average performance for all the timelines from 1 month to 1 year are marked in green. And those funds are HDFC Defense Fund, still has some juice left in it, though it had corrected for the week by 2.82%. ICICI Prudential Nifty Auto ETF then Nippon India Nifty Auto ETF, then ICICI Prudential Nifty Auto Index Fund. Look at them. Last 1 week, they have given more than 6% return. Very impressive. HSBC Infrastructure Fund, Canara Robeco Infrastructure Fund, Bandhan Infrastructure Fund, LIC MF Infrastructure Fund, ICICI Prudential Transportation and Logistics Fund. Again, 5.43% return for the last week is indicating that transportation and logistics also perking up. Invesco India Infrastructure Fund, Axis India Manufacturing Fund, 2.37%. Now here, if you notice, Axis Manufacturing Fund is a relatively new fund because it doesn't have data for 6 months and 1 year. Since I have a criteria that you should have at least 1 month and 3 months results returns basis to mark anything in green. Therefore, for the first time, Axis India Manufacturing Fund has come into a green bracket. So it is a good investment consideration. Navi Nifty India Manufacturing Index Fund, Mirae Asset Nifty India Manufacturing ETF, Invesco India PSU Equity Fund, Bandhan Nifty Alpha 50 Index Fund. So these are all having consistent performance with the current dynamics. Now there are some rows which are marked in yellow because they are in the top segment here, but they don't have data beyond 1 month. So depending on only 1 month data may be a bit risky, but if you're a risk taker, you can ride on them. And those marked in yellow are Tata Nifty Auto Index Fund, but you also have equivalent ones in the green for a similar category. Motilal Oswal Nifty Realty ETF, HDFC Nifty Realty Index Fund, Tata Nifty Realty Index Fund, Canara Robeco Manufacturing Fund. So basically the discussion here is that when a new fund is launched, typically they do well for initial period. So I am mandating that you should do well at least for 3 months before you can be considered at par with other funds which have data up to 1 year. So that distinction you can see. Then there are a lot of other funds. Now let us look at the annual return of these funds. The top return is at 110.67 for the HDFC Defense Fund, and whichever marked in green, the lowest return is around 58.64%. Now, the monthly return, if you look at it, highest is 15.73% and lowest is 10.56%. And weekly return highest is 6.83% and the lowest is minus 2.82%. So this gives you an insight and the preferable choices for further investments, because the market environment has become quite conducive for new investments. Let us look at the annual leaders, top 50, and again within them consistent performers. Very few made it. The first one, CPSE ETF, though it has highest annual return, did not make it to the list because it has subpar return for 1 month and 3 months basis, and that was also caused by some correction last week. So the ones that are green are HDFC Defense Fund, Invesco India PSU Equity Fund, Bandhan Infrastructure Fund, Nippon India Power and Infrastructure Fund, Invesco India Infrastructure Fund, LIC MF Infrastructure Fund. And typical annual return starts at 110.67 and it goes up to 76.26. So again, you get these choices by looking at the annual top 50. And you can notice that manufacturing funds are not coming up here because they're recent additions, so they will not appear here. Now, let us look at the consistency of performance in another way, which is neither looking at 1 month top 50 or 1 year top 50, rather taking an average, including 1 week. Whereas the earlier 2 weeks did not account for 1 week performance. Since post-election results, whatever happened in the last 1 week, kind of sets a new precedence. This technique may be worth considering, where last 1 week performance also considered. So we take average of all these timelines, and then we take the top 50 of these averages, and whichever fund is above the average of these averages is marked in green. So, here you get HDFC's Defense Fund, CPSE ETF, UNESCO India PSE Equity Fund, Bandhan Infrastructure Fund, SBI PSE Fund. See, SBI PSE Fund comes up here. It did not come up in the other two techniques because it had a negative return and a very subpar monthly return, but it has a superior returns earlier. ICICI Prudential Nifty Auto ETF. See, auto ETFs are coming here. Nippon India Nifty Auto ETF, LICMF Infrastructure Fund, ICICI Prudential Nifty Auto Index Fund, UNESCO India Infrastructure Fund, UTI Nifty 500 Value 50 Index Fund, Quant Infrastructure Fund, which did not appear in other ones, Kotak Nifty Alpha 50 ETF, Canara Robeco Infrastructure Fund, Motilal Oswal S&P BSE Enhanced Value ETF, DSP India Tiger Fund, which didn't appear in the other two, Motilal Oswal S&P BSE Enhanced Value Index Fund, HSBC Infrastructure Fund, Nippon India Power and Infrastructure Fund, Aditya Birla Sun Life PSE Equity Fund. Now, if you look at the annual returns, it is somewhere between 110 and some of them are below 70 but above 65, around 66 or so. So these are all good funds. Now you have two choices. You can use the all three techniques, which are 1 month leadership, 1 year leadership, and this consistency of performance based on average across all timelines. And to be further safe, you can choose only those funds which made to all three lists, or you may choose any one list based on your preference. So you are given tremendous choices here. Again, there may be good funds here which are not marked in green in any of these three tables. However, the concept something is here like this. See, if let's say you want to buy an apartment, you will end up buying only one apartment because that's all is the resource you have. And soon after you buy an apartment, you will find some other apartment your friend bought went up high in prices. You can't help that because there are so many choices, you can make only one choice. What is important is that whichever choice you made, you do not lose money or get stuck with some fraud and other legal issues. That is important. Similarly, in mutual funds, it's important that you go with a winner, and you cannot do justice to all the winners out there because you have limited resources. So that is why I give different ways of looking at the winners so that you can have further choices. And yes, if you are confused as to which one to choose because too many choices are given, it is a problem, but it's a good problem to have. I would say that any of the greens I have marked in any of the tables is a reasonably good choice. Within this, you can further optimize using your intelligence, insight, etc. So that is looking at the all funds together, 841 funds. Now, with this, this bulletin should be over, and it is usually over in regular bulletins. But now I'm going into by fund subtypes because there are some people who have certain reasons to look at particular type of fund types. So I want to do justice to their needs. I am very comfortable just looking at the top 50 across all fund types because for me, what matters is ultimate performance. Okay, instead of having to make some theoretical projection about future, which may be reasonably right, but future is always uncertain. So for me, consistency of performance is a good statistical bet against such an uncertainty. That's why this technique is very useful for me, and I hope it will work for you also. Because I have done all the work, I'm just freely sharing it with you. It is up to you to use it or ignore it. So first fund type, I am going here. Let's see, what is this? Okay, based on 1 month return. This looks like a repeat. So no, it is not a repeat. I just need a minute to figure out what is the type. Okay, I figured it out. Sorry, that was a old bulletin data from June 5th. Let us ignore it and move forward. Now we are getting into particular sub fund types. First one is thematic funds. See, by thematic, it is consumption, dividend yield, energy, ESG, MNC, and PSU. I have combined international also along with that, because international also is an esoteric thematic fund. ESG stands for environment, social, and governance sector. So these are combined here. Now thematic funds have done very well. If you notice, this is monthly top 50. The top performance is 15.73%, and the average is up to 9.89% for the month. And if you look at annual return, 110.67% highest, and lowest is 58.38%, because this sector is looking up transportation and logistics. So it is coming into consistency area. The funds that made investment grade are HDFC Defense Fund, ICICI Prudential Nifty Auto ETF, Nippon India Nifty Auto ETF, ICICI Prudential Nifty Auto Index Fund, ICICI Prudential Transportation and Logistics Fund, Axis India Manufacturing Fund, Navi Nifty India Manufacturing Index Fund, Mirae Asset Nifty India Manufacturing ETF, Invesco India PSU Equity Fund, UTI Transportation and Logistics Fund. Now, there are some funds which are not marked in green, rather in yellow, because they have data only up to 1 month. So, and for that 1 month, they are all above average, and they are Tata Nifty Auto Index Fund, Motilal Oswal Nifty Realty ETF, HDFC Nifty Realty Index Fund, Tata Nifty Realty Index Fund. So this is something, many of these we have seen representing leadership in the all of funds together also. So this is about thematic funds who are doing very well in this month. So next we'll move to the same thematic funds based on annual top 50. Within annual top 50, again we are looking for consistent performers. The ones that made the list are HDFC Defense Fund, Invesco India PSU Equity Fund, ICICI Prudential Nifty Auto ETF, Nippon India Nifty Auto ETF, ICICI Prudential Nifty Auto Index Fund, ICICI Prudential Manufacturing Fund, ICICI Prudential Transportation and Logistics Fund. Typical annual return starts at 112.08 and goes up to 60%. Very impressive. So next, let us move to large cap and large and mid cap combined together. Here, based on the monthly top 50, and again looking for consistent performers, these are the ones that made to the list. Kotak Nifty Alpha 50 ETF with 10.51 monthly return. Aditya Birla Sun Life Nifty Next 50 Index Fund, Aditya Birla Sun Life Nifty Next 50 ETF, UTI Nifty Next 50 Exchange Traded Fund, Mirae Asset Nifty Next 50 ETF, SBI Nifty Next 50 ETF, ICICI Prudential Nifty Next 50 ETF, Nippon India ETF Nifty Next 50 Junior Bs, HDFC Nifty Next 50 ETF, ICICI Prudential Nifty Next 50 Index Fund, Kotak Nifty Next 50 Index Fund, SBI Nifty Next 50 Index Fund, DSP Nifty Next 50 Index Fund, UTI Nifty Next 50 Index Fund. So like this, lot of Next 50 Index Fund. I will not read all of them. And annual return varies from 79.25 at the highest and 61%. So, and monthly return 10.51 all the way down to 8.19%. Same fund type, looking at annual leaders, you can see that there are a lot of annual leaders did not make it to green because their short-term performance, rather their 6 months performance, there has been some glitches. So also some 1 month performance. So let us read only those in the green, Kotak Nifty Alpha 50 ETF, then lot of those next 50 index funds. So this gives you another perspective for you. So that was about thematic funds. Now, sorry, large cap and mid cap funds. Now we are coming to sectoral funds, which are looking up. Sectoral funds. This is monthly top 50, banking, infrastructure, pharma, and technology. And though there are a lot of technology funds in the top 50, they did not make it to the investment grade yet. Let us read the ones which are in the green. HSBC Infrastructure Fund, Canara Robeco Infrastructure Fund, Bandhan Infrastructure Fund, LIC MF Infrastructure Fund, UNESCO India Infrastructure Fund, Kotak Infrastructure and Economic Reform Fund, UTI Infrastructure Fund, Nippon India Power and Infra Fund, Aditya Birla Sun Life Infrastructure Fund, Tata Infrastructure Fund, DSP India Tiger Fund, Sundaram Infrastructure Advantage Fund, Quant Healthcare Fund, Taurus Infrastructure Fund, Quant Infrastructure Fund, Bank of India Manufacturing and Infrastructure Fund. So the monthly return 12.39% all the way down to 6.9%, and annual return is between 78% all the way down to 59%. So these are the sectoral funds. Again, we said they are looking up because there are some funds which are catching up here. Technology fund, Kotak Technology Fund gave you 6.95% in the last 1 week, but it needs to catch up with the underperformance based on 3 months and 6 months. So a lot of technology funds are there, but they need to catch up. So will they catch up is a question mark. Therefore, unless they prove, we don't consider them. Now the sectoral funds annual top 50. The ones that are marked in green are Quant Infrastructure Fund, Bandhan Infrastructure Fund, Nippon India Power and Infrastructure Fund, UNESCO India Infrastructure Fund, LIC MF Infrastructure Fund, Franklin Build India Fund, HGFC Infrastructure Fund, DSV India Tiger Fund, Canara Robeco Infrastructure Fund, HSBC Infrastructure Fund, Tata Infrastructure Fund, ICICI Prudential Infrastructure Fund, Bank of India Manufacturing and Infrastructure Fund, SBI Infrastructure Fund, Sundaram Infrastructure Advantage Fund, Taurus Infrastructure Fund, Aditya Birla Sun Life Infrastructure Fund, Kotak Infrastructure and Economic Reform Fund. The annual return varies from 82.08 all the way down to 58.92. And if you notice, these three funds did not make it. The ICICI Prudential Nifty PSU Bank ETF, Kotak Nifty PSU Bank ETF, Nippon India ETF, Nifty PSU Bank, because there has been subpar performance in the 1 month and 3 months basis. So they better to be skipped because there are more better consistent performance. Now we are getting into flexi and multi-cap funds. This particular category did not do well, relatively speaking. This is the monthly top 50. If you look at monthly top 50, 9.11% monthly return all the way down to 6.74% and annual returns is very subdued. Highest is 63.56 all the way down to 45%. So a bit underperformance here. But if you're gung-ho about flexi and multi-cap, the investment choices are LIC Mutual Fund Multi-Cap Fund, Axis Multi-Cap Fund, 361 Flexi Cap Fund, DSP Multi-Cap Fund, Bank of India Flexi Cap Fund, ITI Flexi Cap Fund. Same thing, looking at 1 year top 50, we get investment worthiness for Bank of India Flexi Cap Fund, UNESCO India Focused Fund, JM Flexi Cap Fund, ICICI Prudential Retirement Fund Pure Equity Plan, Quant Active Fund, ITI Multi-Cap Fund, Motilal Oswal Flexi Cap Fund, Nippon India Multi-Cap Fund, ITI Flexi Cap Fund, Axis Multi-Cap Fund, UNESCO India Flexi Cap Fund. Annual return is 63.56 all the way down to 47.75. Now let us move to ELSS funds. This is for tax saving purpose. Now, this is the monthly top 50. If you notice, Sundaram long-term micro-cap tax advantage fund series, though they made the list, they are not marked in green because there has been some subpar performance in the 6 months basis. So the one that are made, that made it to green are SBI Long-Term Advantage Fund Series 5, DSP ELSS Tax Saver Fund, Kotak ELSS Tax Saver, HSBC ELSS Tax Saver, ITI ELSS Tax Saver, JM ELSS Tax Saver. And among the greens, the highest annual return is around 45%, and the lowest is around, highest is 57% for ITI ELSS Tax Saver, which is very impressive, and the lowest is around 34%. SBI. So that is based on the monthly top 50. If I look at the, okay, so it looks like okay, annual top 50, I got it here. The annual top 50, the investments worthy are ITI ELSS Tax Saver Fund, JM ELSS Tax Saver Fund, DSP ELSS Tax Saver Fund, HSBC ELSS Tax Saver Fund, Kotak ELSS Tax Saver Fund. Again, the overall annual return is 57.07%, which is for ITI ELSS, and the lowest is around 41.43 for Kotak ELSS Tax Saver Fund. So that is about the ELSS funds. So now we have mid cap. Okay, mid cap. Okay, I somehow missed the mid cap 1 month data, which I can fix it right now. Just hold. Okay, I am back with the mid cap and small cap fund types data. This is a monthly top 50, and the investment worthy ones are LIC MF Mid Cap Fund, ICICI Prudential Mid Cap Fund, Edelweiss Mid Cap Fund, Motilal Oswal Mid Cap Fund, ITI Mid Cap Fund, Tata Mid Cap Growth Fund, Edelweiss Nifty Mid Cap 150 Momentum 50 Index Fund, Tata Nifty Mid Cap 150 Momentum 50 Index Fund. So on a 1 month basis, we do not see any small cap fund making it to the list, though mid cap funds are coming into the list. So typical monthly return is around 10.08% all the way down to 8.10%. Annual return is anywhere between 68% to 53%. So this is so the key observation is that small cap funds did not make into investment grade, though you will see some small cap fund here. For example, you see Kotak Small Cap Fund did not make it because their 6 months and 1 year returns are subpar. So small cap funds have started coming up, but mid cap funds are still looking more attractive at this stage. Let us look at 1 year data, and hopefully some small cap funds may be here. Yes, the investment worthy ones are Bandhan Small Cap Fund. Actually, Bandhan Small Cap Fund did not make it to monthly, so I have marked it green wrongly. So you should ignore Bandhan Small Cap Fund because its last 1 month data is subpar. So this is a correction. So please ignore Bandhan Small Cap Fund. It is ITI Mid Cap Fund, JM Mid Cap Fund. ITI Small Cap Fund is the only one small cap fund that made to the list, which has consistent performance across all the timelines. For the month, it gave 8.10%. For the annual, it gave 65.88%. So among the small cap funds, it's only ITI Small Cap Fund. Bandhan Small Cap Fund is catching up, but its 1 month data is subpar. By mistake, I have marked it green. Please make that note. Other ones are HSBC Mid Cap Fund, ICICI Prudential Mid Cap Fund. Typical annual return is anywhere between 69.49 to 59%, and monthly return is around 9.66, 7.44%. So that is about mid cap and small cap funds. So now the one more left is value oriented funds. There are only 32 funds, so we don't need a lot of analysis of top 50 across 1 month or 1 year, because all those averages are given here. So looking at these averages, the investment worthy ones are marked in green, which are UTI Nifty 500 Value 50 Index Fund, JM Value Fund, HSBC Value Fund, Nippon India Value Fund, Kotak India EP Contra Fund, ITI Value Fund. Typical annual return is from 90.71 to 51%, and monthly return is anywhere between 8.82% all the way down to 5.48%. This JM Value Fund used to be in our list somewhere around February, March. Now it is coming back to the list within the subcategory, not in all the 841 funds together. So, in summary, if you have particular alignment with the particular fund types, this detailed report should help you to further narrow the selections. The good news is market has come back from the correction. It will be a steady, slow and steady progress from here, so which is good for mutual funds. So what I said was that in the earlier bulletin, personally I would consider 40% on June 5th, then another 30% post government installation, which will be Monday. So because today the government is swearing in, then another 30% I said I would do it post budget or around the budget. So I am very comfortable to now make that 30% investment using this list. And again, if you notice, the choices are many, your funds or resources are limited. So that's a good problem to have. So you have to, you can easily make a good choice from this report. Wish you all the best. So that is for the special report on equity funds. Hopefully, I will release one for hybrid funds before Monday morning. And you can always look for my bulletins on various platforms, social network platforms of mine. See you again next week. And I hope you will stay put with faith on mutual funds, and you can easily aim 30% annual return using my reports. And I personally hope to aim at least the average of all mutual equity funds together, which is 40%, which is amazing. So I believe that I should be able to achieve 40% returns using my own reports. And that is a hope. And let's see, because 841 funds average annually is 40%. So that is that should be easy. So if you stay with consistent winners, I think we can easily aim 40% return for the year. And this kind of business environment will stay on for India for next 5 years. So I hope we all will run with the mutual funds and make good money in the next 5 years. See you next week, and with the usual reports. Before that, please anticipate my hybrid funds special report. Thank you. Bye.